We have Craig Crawford coming up on the Celebrity Hotline.
Congressional Quarterly.
You see him on Oberman all the time. It's just more people I'd book to ask if Keith ever talks about me. Just kidding. He knows everything that's going on in Washington. We'll talk to him next on the Stephanie Miller Show. A little splash of bourbon there at the end.
Yeah.
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. 33 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. The rough life, you know, politics. If only there was somebody that knows a little something about politics. It might be a talking head type that might write something called The Politics of Life. If someone like that would call... Hi, Chris, who is it?
It's Congressional Quarterly contributing editor and author of The Politics of Life, Craig Crawford.
I just said that if somebody wrote a book...
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, Craig.
Well, that's the finest introduction I've ever had. I love the trumpets.
Thank you.
I wish I had that in the house as I walked around.
Your wife needs to get that. Well, welcome home, honey. Dinner's on the table, my king. So I see you on my future...
Better than my Ann Coulter doll. You know, you press her stomach and she attacks liberals.
I don't even think you have to press her stomach. No. I think you could just press her Adam's apple, actually. And oh, come on now, Craig. I don't know what I meant by that.
Well, you know, if it wasn't for an Adam's apple, she wouldn't be a man.
Yeah. So I see you on my future husband, Keith Olbermann's show all the time, and you're terrific.
Oh, I love that show.
I love him. Please tell him I love him.
I think he knows.
I think the restraining order says.
I think Monica Novotny warned him.
I was over at the Take Back America conference here, you know, where they booed Hillary and everything here in Washington, and what I decided was that their real hero was Keith Olbermann.
Oh, yeah. I'll say.
When I did the panel there, that's what I got the most questions about.
I'll say. What's your take on Hillary? I know she, you know what? She got booed there last year worse. This year there was less booing, but still some.
Yeah, I thought, you know, at this rate, you know, there'll be just a few hisses next year. I mean, it was less than last year. I saw them both, and there were a lot of applause, and I thought it was interesting that Senator Clinton chose to go. I mean, and after they got booed last year, they must have known it was going to happen. Sometimes I think they don't mind the rest of the country seeing liberals boo her.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, I guess that gives her moderate credentials. But
I guess that's how you do it when you don't have the moderate voting record. You can at least do that.
But Craig, she's gaining in the polls. Clearly, I'm on the Obama bandwagon. Even though I'm a flip flopper today. I am. But what do you think it is? I mean, her numbers are going up, even though in the general matchup it keeps showing that she's not doing as well as perhaps Obama and others.
I think it was the debates. I hesitate because I don't generally think debates that early can make a difference, but I think a lot of activist Democratic voters and workers were watching those debates, and that's where it began anyway, with the two debates that they did. And
don't get me wrong.
A very good job.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think she's clearly smart. She's been a great senator, but here's the thing, Craig. It's interesting. I was telling this story that I had dinner, with just like a couple I didn't even know on vacation a while back, and very moderate kind of people, and it was just, I thought it was the perfect example. The woman leans over the table. We were talking about Hillary. She goes, "I just don't like her." And I thought, this is like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know whether people feel like they see her triangulating or what it is, but
it's a real phenomenon. I guess it goes back to look at what a different first lady she was than Laura, for example, who is just sits up there in the living quarters, chain smoking. We don't see her very often. But
she's on the Rose Garden most days, just going through a pack of Marlboros, unfiltered Camels.
But Hillary was out there into the issues, and I think that was a first for a first lady.
Right.
And I think some of it goes back to that. And of course, her campaign's very aware of it and trying to deal with it. They're very focused on women.
I can't get over that. I feel like that's who the right wing wants us to pick because they know that she's so polarizing. And
they talk about her more than their own candidates.
Right.
They talked about her more at their debates than they did George Bush.
Right. But Craig, I feel the same thing you do, that this is so early, and I feel like there's already this feeling of that, she's the one, and, it's over. You know what I mean? Even out here in Hollywood, it seems like they're coalescing mostly behind Hillary, and I'm like, didn't we just start? It's not until like 10 years from now, the election,
Right, and with Illinois has now added its primary to the February 5th roll, which means, I think we'll have nominees on February 6th, which is, 6-7 months away.
Let's talk about the pathetic pack of motley crew members on the right, on the 2008 side. Not that I have an opinion about that. But there's a new thing.
I do love Ron Paul.
I love Ron. I just had Ron Paul on. I love Ron Paul.
Yeah.
He's the only one. He was like a piggy on Lord of the Flies on that debate, wasn't he? I thought they were going to kill him with a rock.
Yeah, I mean, he was great. And, I think he's the best candidate we've had since Goldwater and your dad.
Yeah. Oh, look, you know about my daddy. Yay for daddy.
Now, what are you most proud of, his candidacy or the American Express commercial?
He always says he should have done the American Express commercial first, because he was much better known from that than he was from running for vice president. But I was going to say, there's a new poll out in Iowa. McCain is at single digits in this poll, so it seems like McCain is toastier and toastier. Yeah, the meltdown of McCain is really one of the phenomenons. I mean, look at the different trajectories of Clinton and McCain. They both started out presumed front runners. She's maintained it, and he certainly has not. It's a lot of it's been this immigration stuff. That was not the position to take with the Republican primary base. Well, and I think it's all of them supporting this escalation and this war without end. I think that's hurting all of them, don't you think? I mean, I really do think it's what John Edwards said. If you want, George Bush on steroids, just George Bush but worse. Vote for any of them.
Yeah, I did an interview with Iranian TV. I didn't know this, but Voice of America has a show and that's broadcast to Iran that is the highest rated news show in Iran. Anyway, I was talking to. They asked me, based on the debates, which of the parties would be better for Iran. I said, well, I look at it this way. I think listening to the candidates, if a Republican's elected, we will bomb your country.
Oh man!
I'm glad
that makes you so chuckly, Craig.
The military. I just can't believe how militaristic the Republicans came across in that debate. I mean, they were jumping all over each other to bomb any country that was named.
Right. I mean, that seems like all they have to run on, Greg, is just this same sort of fear-mongering and the past. I mean, Rudy Giuliani, all he's running on is September 11th. It's fear-monger. It's more of the same, trying, to figure out how to divide and how to fear-monger. And I just don't think it's playing anymore, do you?
It doesn't seem to be, although it does in that base of primary voters who they're mainly talking to. But my money's on Romney. I think Romney's the long hauler.
The flip-floppiest ever.
Well,
he has no core values. How can that be possible? He literally has changed his position 180 degrees on every single issue, just about.
Well, you mentioned my book. One of my rules is
The Politics of Life: 25 Rules for Survival in a Brutal and Manipulative World.
One of my rules is never keep your word if circumstances change.
But
25 rules.
Look at Rudy Giuliani. Aren't we like picking a president on judgment? And let me see. First of all, 2 words, Bernard Carrick, and then 2 more words, his guy in South Carolina who just got busted for cocaine.
I think we're good. Giuliani's been slipping. I think Giuliani is losing his grip on the front runner status and things. Fred Thompson comes along, and then we got the whole Bloomberg effect.
Yeah, although we've never had a president that's 3 feet tall, so I'm not really sure. Money cannot buy you inches, if you know what I'm talking about, Craig. Unless, of course, you're having a special kind of operation. But anyway, listen, I don't know what I meant by that either. Let me get your take on Scooter Libby. Going to jail? Going to get pardoned? What's going to happen?
No, not going to jail.
Oh.
I've always believed from day one that the only person to go to jail in that whole episode is a journalist. That's just fitting, I suppose, and how these things go.
Is it not possible? Is this administration not going to get nailed on anything, on attorney firings, on any of these scandals? What's your take?
They play such good rope-a-dope. I actually think Bush's poll ratings are so low now it's liberating him. I just wrote I caught my weekly column for CQ on the joy of unpopularity. They seem to just no matter the lower they go in the polls, the more he does what he wants.
Beware of
he could bomb Iran and pardon Libby on the same day, and he'd probably drop a point or two. He's so low already.
Man, I know. Beware of people with nothing less to lose. Well, the book is Politics of Life: 25 Rules for Survival in a Brutal and Manipulative World. Craig, come on with us anytime. You're great fun.
And at $12.21 on Amazon, that's only 48 cents per rule.
That's a bargain.
That is
drinking better for you.
All right, there he goes, Craig Crawford. Thank you, Craig.
So
all right, there he goes. He's great. Oh yeah, great. A little bit chuckly about bombing Iran, but other than that, wow.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun though.